Jackson, say hi. Say hi. I'm 3 months old. I'm 3 months old. Yes, I am. Are you a big 3-month-old? Yeah. Say hi, friends. This is going to be my 3-month update. And I just thought I would bring Jackson in here. He's getting kind of like he's ready for a nap. So I figured we would film the beginning of this with Mr. Jackson. And then when he goes night-night, Mama will come film the rest. What do you think? You think everything in here is very interesting. He's looking at his feet right now, too. Are you mesmerized by your tootsies? Are you mesmerized by your tootsies? Okay. Okay, so let me start by saying this is probably the biggest hot mess video I've ever done. I could barely brush my hair today because my fibromyalgia pain was so bad. I've got the washer going. I've got the dogs in here, so I mic'd up. Hopefully my hair won't bump the mic and make annoying noises. But I did that so that the background noise isn't so much. But I didn't have time to really, you notice I'm in my office again, set up in Jackson's room where I film now and all that. So didn't really have time for a lot of makeup either. I just don't feel well, but I wanted to do this. Jackson is, as of today when I'm filming, he is 3 months, 6 days, I believe. You guys will probably see this at 3 months, 7 days. I'm going to try to edit this tonight. Try my hardest and get it up to you guys tomorrow. So Jackson is 11 pounds for 9.4 ounces and he is 24 inches long. He just started outgrowing his newborn stuff, and a lot of people are surprised by that because he's already 11 pounds. But honestly, most of his weight is in his head. If you look at his body percentile, it's like, I didn't even know there was 2%, but at one point he was at 2 percentile, and his head was at 56 percentile. So the boy has a really big head, and I feel like that causes a lot of his weight. I know that sounds crazy, but his head is so heavy. So at 2 months and 2.5 weeks, he outgrew his, you could still put his newborn pajamas on, but they didn't look very comfortable because he's so long. So I stored them, packed them all up and put them away and started transitioning to his zero. I'm sorry, you guys. This video is going to literally be a hot mess, but I also, when I'm in a fibro flare, have issues talking and memory problems and fibro fog. So if I'm tongue-tied a lot, I do apologize. So I packed up his clothes and I transitioned him into 0 to 3 month clothing for jammies. And then his newborn stuff, pretty much most of it still fits. Some of the pants have gotten too tight for his chunky little legs, and he's kind of long for a lot of the pants. But then I thought, okay, well, the pajamas fit him good enough in that size, and some of them are fit him perfectly in 0 to 3 month and 3 month. But for some reason, when I try to put the clothes on him, the onesies, the crotch is so much longer. He looks like he's in a 80s workout video, with one of those leotards that are cut really high, because his onesies come up really high and the pants are really loose on him. Some clothes like Koala Baby, Gerber, stuff like that, those fit him really well, and because they run small, I feel like they're closer to a newborn size, but a smidge bigger. So I put away most of his newborn stuff just because the pants are short, and so we're living in a lot of newborn onesies and Koala Baby sizes and stuff right now. I do put the bigger stuff on him because he doesn't have temperature regulation issues. Now, if it's too big and it slides off, I don't put it on him, but I do keep trying it because he's changing so much every day and he grows. But that's what's going on with his just kind of outgrew newborn stuff. Pretty much the only newborn stuff I have left that I put him in are onesies now. And I do have a few pair of pants that still fit him pretty well because most of the 3 month pants are too big. So that's that. Let's see. His favorite thing in the world right now is balloon kicks. If you guys have seen that in our vlog, you gently tie, not tight and not a permanent tie, balloon strings to their legs and they kick their feet and they learn cause and effect. When I kick, the balloon does this. They learn eye tracking movement. They practices their eye tracking, and then it's also a gross motor skill development. So balloon kicks are really great. Somebody actually asked in one of our comments today, what age will I stop doing them with Jackson? Is it appropriate for a 6-month-old? I will do it with Jackson until he's like over it and hates it, doesn't want to do it anymore, because honestly, there isn't a bad age for it either. 6 months is perfectly fine. I feel like a 6-month-old would love balloon kicks, but the most important thing that you need to do is always be right next to your baby. And right there when they're doing balloon kicks, balloons can be dangerous to babies, especially latex ones. I use the Mylar type, but balloons can be dangerous if they pop. They're a choking hazard, but also the string can be extremely dangerous. You guys might have seen it in our vlog when I was sitting next to Jackson in the car and he likes holding the balloons too and pulling them really tight and like making them, you know, bounce up and down. He will try to bring the string to his mouth, and that's why you need to be right there next to him, because it is a choking hazard. It's also a strangulation hazard for babies that are bigger and can roll and move around and stuff. So if you do want to do balloon kicks with your baby, especially an older one that has a risk of strangulation, well, any baby, you need to be right there. That is very, very important. I just want to put that out there since I'm talking about it, because safety is important as well. Another thing he really enjoys is sucking his fists. He loves putting his fists in his mouth now, and I got him teethers that he can hold, and sometimes he does put them in the mouth, but he likes holding them and then putting his other fist in his mouth. So that's like one of his favorite things right now, is just sucking on his fists. So we make sure to wash his hands often because he does that. A huge developmental thing that happened with Jackson in this month has been he started rolling. I noticed early in this month, Jackson started tucking his arm like this, and I thought something was wrong with his arm because I didn't think it was possible for a baby his age to roll, but he would tuck his arm and hold his arm like this, and I didn't really know what was going on. I was actually going to bring it up to the pediatrician, and then about a week, over a week before he turned 3 months, it was probably like 8 days before or so, I noticed he had for a while had been tucking his arm. Then I noticed he's kind of rolling to the side, but then like about 8 or 9 days before his actual like 3-month birthday, he went, like, I put him down on the floor one day and it just happened like bam, he just rolled from his tummy to his back like hello, and looked at me and laughed, and I was like, what? You're only 2 months old. What is this? So I put him back down and he did it again. And then he did it a third time, a little bit slower, but I did get that on video, thank God, because I thought people would think I was crazy or making it up. And so that day I also had to take him to the pediatrician. I'm sorry if the audio just changed, the air kicked on. I had to take him to the pediatrician, and because he had breathing issues. I'll talk about that in a second. And I told her, and she looked at me like I was crazy. So she put him on his stomach there in the office, and he just whoop, rolled over and looked at her and started smiling and laughing. He also talks a lot. You guys might have noticed in our vlog, when he is not sleeping and not sleepy and tired, kind of like in the intro of this like video, he is just like babbling and talking and laughing and smiling. He is the happiest baby ever. And he was doing that at the pediatrician's office. And it was when we had gone in. It was the day he started rolling, I believe, that we had gone to the pediatrician's office. And he was just talking to her and babbling, and she said, you know, I cannot believe this baby just rolled. He's super advanced in motor skills. And she said his language is also very advanced. So I was like, you know, my little advanced guy, which makes me so, so proud of him, because he had such a rough start in life. And the fact that he is just like doing amazing makes me so, so proud of him. Getting a little teary-eyed. Okay, so yeah, the pediatrician was like blown away. She said he's very advanced. He'll probably crawl and walk and do all those things early. He might not, but he might. She said usually babies that start rolling early and stuff like that, you know, he did it at 2 months. It's a 4-month milestone. She said they're usually more advanced with their motor skills and they do things a little bit early. So that happened this month. So sleep-wise, I don't have Jackson on any kind of a schedule. I don't plan on like sleep training him or anything like that. I'm just gonna let him do his own thing and let me know what he needs. That's what I noticed worked best If you go to any daycare or preschool, usually for the first year in the baby room, they just let babies make their own kind of schedule, and that's what works for us. And he has his own little schedule he does, and sometimes it's different. Sometimes he goes into his first big sleep of the night earlier, sometimes later. We just let him do whatever. Same thing with naps. So he does have 2 feedings in the middle of the night that are usually around the same time. So usually in between 11:30 anywhere to about 1, he'll have a feeding, and I'll breastfeed him, both breasts, and then I will give him a supplementation bottle if he wants it. He doesn't always. Sometimes he just wants the breast milk and it's enough and he's fine and he goes back to sleep. And that's for both feedings. And then sometimes he does want the supplementation bottle. So I'll do that feeding with him, and then I'll pump what's left if there's anything left, and then he'll go back to sleep. And then usually in between, sometimes it can happen at like 4:45, anywhere from 4:45 to 5:30, he wakes up again for another nursing session, bottle, whatever, and then he'll go back to sleep for like maybe 2 more hours, and then he'll wake up again for another bottle. So but usually with that wake up, when he wakes up, we give him his GERD medication and we play with him for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then we give him the bottle. So he has 2 bottles close together, like in the morning, but then after that usually he'll take another big nap, like 2 hours or so. So like I said, he doesn't have like this set schedule. I just kind of let him do whatever. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes he doesn't nap during the day, and that's fine with me. It's just whatever he needs. But that's kind of his sleep schedule he's made for himself. He does have about a 5-hour block of solid sleep in the middle of the night. So there's that. But that doesn't always mean mommy gets a solid 5-hour block of sleep, because sometimes I'm up late editing or answering comments. You might notice that I answer a comment at like 3 a.m. Or I'm having to pump. So that's a sleep Jackson gets, but that's okay. So on the topic of his GERD medication, I think we talked about before last month, or did we talk about? I think we talked about in the last update, he was diagnosed with GERD. So he started having breathing problems. When he was in the hospital, he stopped breathing several times, but it was because there's fluid in his lungs. That was what the doctor, the NICU doctor, and the pediatrician said was going on. And then he had temperature regulation. He had a whole thing of issues in the hospital. But he did have breathing issues in the hospital. But he hadn't had any in a long time. But they did tell us in the hospital that newborns do something called periodic breathing, which means they will breath hold, or they'll be like, you might notice sometimes their breathing is just erratic. They'll breathe fast, they'll breathe slow, they'll breath hold, and then they just have like weird breathing patterns because they're still developing. And usually around 6 months is when the periodic breathing and like the irregular breathing stops, and I believe this was said, and their body just like automatically starts knowing how to breathe. I don't know how they explained it, but anyway, so I started noticing the periodic breathing, which they told us about they told me about because Justin was at home when the NICU doctor came to talk to me. They told me about that. Don't freak out about that. It's the choking and the not breathing thing he was doing that we need to watch out for. So they warned me about that, so I knew that could happen, and so they knew I wouldn't freak out. And but what he was doing was it wasn't periodic. At first I noticed the periodic breathing, and as a mom, that made me like watch him all the time. And then I noticed 2 times, usually when he did it, when I noticed, I would just give him a little belly nudge and he would breathe again. Or he would just breathe again on his own. But there was 2 times that he stopped breathing, and I don't know what made me check, but he stopped breathing and he didn't start up again. And so I would nudge his belly, nothing. I would nudge it again harder, nothing. And then I would when I say shake, I don't mean like shaking baby. I would just grasp his shoulders and gently shake him, and nothing. And then I would freak out. I scooped him up and nothing. He was limp. And so I started flicking the bottom of his feet, blowing in his face. Finally, he did that. So that happened twice, and it was scary as hell. We took him to the doctors. They hooked him up to pulse ox. Everything was normal. We discussed like what had happened, when it happened, the day it had happened. She asked, was his GERD bad that day? Because even on medication, they still have bad GERD days. And it had been on days his GERD was bad. And she said that his pediatrician believed that it was the GERD causing it, which is something I didn't know could happen. GERD and babies with severe acid reflux. When acid comes up sometimes in their sleep, they purposely hold their breath, trying to either, I guess, push it up or swallow it down, I think she said. But sometimes they hold it so long, then they don't start breathing again like he was doing. And sometimes they do, and you just hear a gulp, and it either comes up or they swallow it back down. But if he starts going blue, then he's probably, if we find him blue at any point, he's probably going to be put in the hospital for like more tests. But he has not gone blue yet, but that's probably because when it's happened, I've been like, oh my God. And like, it was the scariest moments of my life is when he did that. But so yeah, if we have an occasion, and they said the next time he has it, I have to count, which I've done a couple times, and it's all been under like 8 to 10 seconds. But if he starts going blue, that's when they want me to scoop him up and stuff, like the first signs of color change. But they said try to let it go and count so they know how long it's going on. So our insurance company sucks balls, and they will not cover a like sleeping monitor or oxygen monitor that he needs to let us know when he stops breathing in the middle of the night due to this problem. It's just, from what I understand from a lot of you guys have let me know, that is, like, somebody told me the other day that their little one had a heart defect and the insurance company wouldn't even cover it. So insurance companies suck balls and they won't cover it. And it's terrifying as a parent that has a baby that stops breathing or has issues like a heart problem. It's horrifying, because then you're like, what do I do? Stay up the rest of my life and watch him, which is what I was doing. So we did the only thing that we really could do at this point without the insurance providing us the sleep monitor he needed, and that was to purchase an Owlet monitor, which like monitors their oxygen and heart rate levels. Our pediatrician is not really for them. Like, she doesn't like them for the same reasons I didn't like it during pregnancy when I thought about it. Not that they're not good or that they're not going to be helpful. She didn't like them because parents will not follow the SIDS guidelines, thinking that this monitor will just tell them if something's wrong with the baby, if it's suffocating, or if something happens. And yeah, it might, but there's no guarantee in a SIDS death that you can get a baby to start breathing again once it's stopped. So that is why she's usually like, she's not for them. In this situation, I mean, it was like, that's all we can do. So we went ahead and we financed an Owlet monitor, and I'm just going to show you guys real quick because Jackson's sleeping. He's on it. It just shows you his little picture right there. It shows his heart rate, his oxygen level. I will do a review on it because some of you guys have asked, but that's not what this video is about today. But I wanted to give you guys information about, his breathing thing, because that happened this month. So another thing is, he is not a fan of the car. He's okay with it. Like, at first we put him in it, we drive around, he looks out the window, but he's not a fan of long car rides. He gets very, very grouchy. I don't really know why. He does not like it all. Like, no matter how good of a mood he's in, he does not like when the car stops moving. Like, if we stop at a red light, if I have to stop in traffic, he gets so, like, that's the only time he cries for, like, I would say no reason, but like, he's not hungry, his diaper's not dirty, like, that's the only reason he cries, because he just has like attitude, is he does not like when the car stops moving. So that's like his dislike for this month. And I mean, I feel like that started around 1 month, but it's like, since then it's been like, no, when the car stops moving, he is a pissed off little guy. He is still breastfeeding really well, and actually breastfeeding a lot longer now too. So yeah, that's been awesome. Breastfeeding's going great. I still have low milk supply. It hasn't really, I don't know. it hasn't helped that he's breastfeeding longer in the sense that like my milk supply just got some huge boost, but I know that he gets more milk nursing than he does when I pump. So the fact that he's able to nurse so long now, I know he's getting more milk. There's also a lot of times now where he doesn't want as much of the supplemental bottle, or in the middle of the night he doesn't want it at all. So I know he's getting more milk. Maybe it is boosting my supply, but pumping wise I can't tell, and I haven't gone and paid for any more lactation consultant stuff to get like a weighted feed, but I feel like that's going a lot better. So that's going on with breastfeeding. His favorite book right now, I thought it'd be fun to share that, is Toy Story. We have Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2, the books, the like Disney books, and Toy Story 1 is his favorite book. I don't know why, he just laughs through it and stuff, and I'm interested to see when I'm ready to give him screen time, because I don't plan on letting him have screen time till he's around 2. You know, after he's about a year old, you know, if he watches, like if he sees TV, like, I don't know, his cousin's house, or you know, I'm not going to freak out, or he watches like a Christmas movie or something, then, you know, okay, but I'm not going to let him have screen time where we're watching like movies and stuff or TV regularly until after 2. And so, yeah, and even then it'll probably be very little, but when he's about 2, I'm kind of interested to see how he likes the Toy Story movie. So yeah, that's his favorite book for some reason. He just laughs and laughs through it. It's hilarious when we read it to him, and he'll let you read it to him like over and over again. So I didn't even know they could have favorite books at this age, but he does. Jackson is a really, really, really happy baby. He does not cry, like really at all. The only times he cries is if he wants a diaper change, which usually I'm on top of that and I'm changing his diaper all the time anyway. And like really it's the diaper change and when he's sleepy. Those are really the only time he cries. Also when he's hungry, I mean, of course, but usually during the day, because of his GERD, I feed him multiple feedings often, so that I'm not feeding him a bunch at once, because that would agitate his GERD and, you know, make him not feel well. So usually we stay pretty on top of that. But so yeah, it's just like nap time when he's tired, or when he's got pee or a little hungry. Like that, other than that, this baby does not cry. Like he is just like the happiest baby. And besides the car is the only thing that gives me anxiety, because I'm like, oh my gosh. I take him to the doctors with me and do all this stuff with him, and go to the store, we go out to eat, and he's just a happy guy. We're very lucky that he's such a happy baby. So yeah, I mean, like at first I was worried that he was, you know, an unhappy baby. I don't like saying a good baby, because what's a good baby? Does that mean there's bad babies? I just, like, when he had the GERD and we didn't know what was going on, it was so stressful, because I just, hearing him cry in pain so much and I couldn't do anything was the most heartbreaking thing ever. And it was just stressful. And so now that his GERD is like fine, because he's on medication, he's just like the happiest guy ever. The last few things I'm going to talk about is he still loves being swaddled. I've talked about that before. Once he starts flipping from back to tummy, which he's starting to try to do during playtime, I see him kicking his legs, then we'll do arms out swaddled. But for now, the pediatrician said because he loves being swaddled so much and he doesn't try to break out of it and he just sleeps like that, then don't worry about it. But as soon as the first time I see that boy roll from his back to his tummy, we're done swaddling with arms in. We'll move to arms out. He loves being worn. He loves being worn in his Moby wrap still. Sometimes I do use the structured carrier, but right now he's still about the Moby wrap. I think he'll like the structured carrier more once he has really good head control, but it's not like 100% there, you know. I think once he has like total head control, then he's gonna like the structured carrier better. We have the Ergo. So the other thing is he loves his dogs. He's really starting to notice Amber and Ralph, and he loves smiling at them and laughing at them. When they kiss him, he giggles. Before they were kind of just there, like, you know, but now that he's starting to like really notice things going on around him, he loves Amber and Ralph. In fact, today Ralph walked by and he stuck his hand out when Ralph was walking by, so almost like he wanted to touch him or pet him. and Ralph just walked under him, like under his hand, and he thought it was the greatest thing ever. So anyways, that's Jackson's 3-month update. I think I covered it all. I don't know. Sorry if this video is long. Sorry if I'm stumbling over my words or the sound's awful. It's been a rough couple weeks for me fibro wise, and I appreciate y'all's understanding if this video is a hot mess. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.